Today, I'm gonna walk you through a 9-ingredient advanced scent blend for soap making. We're actually gonna look at each ingredient and see why we add this ingredient, how it connects to the previous ingredient and to the one after it, and why we choose this essential oil blend that is long-lasting for soap making. By the end of this video, you won't just have a formula to make your own scent blend at home, but you will have a framework to design your own. So today I'm gonna walk you through a scent blend that is actually an advanced recipe, and it's made specifically for soap. And if you're completely new here, my name is Perry. I have a background in chemical engineering and master's in biotechnology, and I'm obsessed with understanding formulation and the why behind things. Because as always, my aim with this channel is not to just provide you with recipes that you copy, but to also help you understand the why behind each ingredient, why we do what we do, so that you're able to design your own recipes from scratch based on your own goals. And if you would like a free soap making recipe with coconut oil, shea butter, olive oil, and castor oil, and also a scent blend included in that is long lasting, then make sure to comment, "I want a soap recipe," and I will send to you as soon as I see your comment. There's nothing more frustrating than spending a lot of money in expensive essential oils, because trust me, some essential oils are quite expensive. And then you spend a lot of money on essential oils, you pour them into soap, and 3-4 weeks afterwards, the scent has faded away. This happens for many reasons, but one is that essential oils are volatile, they evaporate very easily, and if you don't combine them with the right base notes, as we will see soon, they tend to evaporate really fast, and they're not very long lasting. Apart from that, the soap making environment is an environment of high pH and high temperature that unfortunately makes things degrade faster. So before we get into the ingredients, let's look at the model that I'm using to make long-lasting scent blends for soap making. So fragrance architecture works in 3 layers. Layer number 1 is base notes. Base notes are essential oils or scents of high molecular weight. They're basically very heavy, and because they're very heavy, it's harder for them to evaporate. And because it's harder for them to evaporate and become volatile, they are more long-lasting. They have a molecular weight of 200 to 300 grams per mole, and they are usually substances like sandalwood, vetiver, patchouli, and some more that we will see soon. Then we have middle notes or heart notes. Heart notes are what defines the character and the essence of the fragrance. They have a molecular weight of 150 to 200 grams per mole, so they have medium molecular weight, and they evaporate slightly easier than base notes. And last, we have the top notes, which are of the lowest molecular weight. They evaporate really fast, and because they're so volatile, they are not long lasting at all, and they are basically the first impression. It's basically the thing that you smell first. Before you get into the middle notes, first you will smell the top notes. And trust me, this is not a simple scent blend for soap making. This is an advanced recipe, and the reason I'm saying scent blend and I'm not saying essential oil blend is you will see that 1 out of the 9 ingredients is actually not natural, it's synthetic. And I think you will like that it's synthetic and not natural. You will be surprised for that in one moment. If you're completely new to soap making and how to make essential oil blends on soap making, I've made an introductory video on essential oil blends here that I would recommend you watch before you go into this advanced recipe. So let's start with the first ingredient, and the first ingredient is called ambroxan. We're going to use 24% ambroxan. So why are we using ambroxan, and what is ambroxan? Ambroxan is the main ingredient of ambergris, and ambergris is the most expensive perfume ingredient in the whole world. Ambergris is a substance produced in the intestines of sperm whales. It has been ethically problematic because it has been connected with whale hunting. You can still find some ethically sourced ambergris, but it's not that common, and it's really expensive. It's 10 times more expensive than synthetic ambroxan. And ambroxan is one of my favorite ingredients in the world. It's an amazing fixative, meaning it's a base note that makes your whole essential oil blend really long lasting. It gives this freshness, this ocean breeze smell. It's slightly musky, ozonic, and it has basically this scent that it's hard to describe, but it's immediately recognizable. And ambroxan is used in a lot of perfumes. Some of the most famous perfumes out there, like the Dior Sauvage, actually contain ambroxan. So not only is it an amazing ingredient because it smells nice, but it's also amazing because it makes everything more long-lasting. And I'm so excited that we're gonna use this. So let's look at the rest of the ingredients. While we're making it afterwards, I'm gonna explain why we add what we add. 24% ambroxan, 20% sandalwood, 16% frankincense, 5% labdanum absolute. So these are basically our base notes. Then we have our heart notes, which is 12% neroli essential oil, 10% lavender essential oil, and then we go into the top notes, which is 8% lychea cubeba, 3% coriander, and 2% ginger essential oil. I'm gonna make a total of 10 grams of scent blend, which means that if I'm using 24% ambroxan, I'm gonna add 2.4 grams. Then I'm gonna go ahead with 2 grams of sandalwood. Sandalwood is warm, creamy, slightly sweet, and very smooth. Ambroxan amplifies sandalwood's smoothness. And one practical note here is that sandalwood essential oil, make sure you buy one from a reputable source with clear origin like Australia or India, because honestly, there are a lot of low quality sandalwood essential oils out there, and if you use those, they will completely undermine your whole entire blend. Let's go ahead with one of my favorite ingredients and one of my favorite essential oils, frankincense. This is another one that you really need to get good quality essential oil, because frankincense is resinous, it's slightly woody, and it's very meditative. It has been used in ancient religions for thousands of years, and it has this spiritual aspect to it. So sandalwood without frankincense in this blend would feel too soft. So basically frankincense really adds depth to this essential oil blend. So we're gonna go ahead and add 16%, which is 1.6 grams. And as you will see here, ambroxan is not dissolved yet, but we will dissolve it at the very end. Let's go ahead with labdanum absolute. We're gonna add 5%, and labdanum absolute is a resinous extract. It smells very animalic, slightly leathery, and it can be quite overwhelming if you use it in high concentrations. And that's why we're only adding 5% or 0.5 grams. Ambroxan is the main ingredient of ambergris, which comes from the intestines of the sperm whale. So ambroxan, it's considered basically an animalic tone, and labdanum, even though it's completely plant-based, it has an animalic tone to it, and it fits very well with the animalic aspect of ambroxan, and that's why we're adding it today. Ambroxan is a resin, as you will see here, so it's a bit difficult to get out from the bottle, of course. You can also slightly warm it up. Great, so we are done with the base notes. Let's go to the heart notes. So we're gonna go ahead with neroli essential oil, and we're gonna use 12% neroli. So neroli, 12% or 1.2 grams. So neroli is basically very bright. It comes from the blossoms of the bitter orange tree, and it's both floral and it's also very citrusy. So what it does, because neroli has a citrusy aspect and it's very bright as an essential oil, it basically introduces a light into the base note that is very rich and dark. So our base note right now is very deep, is very rich, very intense, and slightly dark and animalic. So we want to brighten things up a bit, and that's why we add neroli. Then we're gonna go ahead with lavender. Lavender, we're gonna use 10% or 1 gram, and lavender is quite interesting because it acts as a blender in perfumery. It has both a herbal, a floral, and a bit of a citrusy aspect, so it works really well. It connects very well with a lot of different ingredients, so it acts as a blender between, it acts as basically a connecting bridge between neroli and the top notes we're about to add. And this is where we move to the top notes. And here we're gonna first go ahead with Lychea cubeba, which is an amazing top note because Lychea cubeba is actually one of the top notes that are quite stable. A lot of top notes like sweet orange essential oil, lemon essential oil, bergamot, they tend to evaporate really fast. But I've noticed from all the top notes, Lychea cubeba seems to be the most stable one. It still evaporates quite fast compared to base and middle notes, but not as fast as the other top notes. In this blend, Lychea cubeba basically provides an opening sparkle, the first thing your nose catches. It's very bright and it makes an amazing first impression. We're gonna go ahead and add 8% or 0.8 grams. And now it's time to do the unexpected. It's time to spice things up. We're gonna start with 8% coriander. And yes, I know, why coriander is one of the most underused ingredients in soap making. It's spicy, slightly woody, and it adds a lot of definition. It sharpens the edges of everything around it and completes basically the whole essential oil blend. So we're gonna go ahead and add 3% or 0.3 grams. Of course, a little goes a long way. And finally, we're gonna go ahead with 2% ginger essential oil that brings a different kind of energy, warm, slightly peppery, with a brightness that's different from citrus. And of course, ginger, we are only adding 2% or 0.2 grams because it can be quite overwhelming and dominant. Even though it's not dissolved properly yet, it smells amazing, and I'm going to use that to dissolve the ambroxan and the resinous labdanum absolute. Guys, I want you to promise me this. I want you to make this essential oil blend and try it at home because it smells amazing. If you're into complex blends, then this is definitely for you. And the science behind it, it's very long lasting, and it has this combination of essential oils and ambroxan that fit very well together. So I would love to hear your opinion about it. I'm very happy. As you can see, everything got dissolved. So basically the ambroxan got dissolved, the labdanum absolute got dissolved, everything looks great. And again, remember to comment, I want a soap recipe, if you want a soap making recipe with castor oil, shea butter, coconut oil and olive oil that is balanced and it contains a long-lasting essential oil blend. I'm really looking forward for you to try this and letting me know how it went. Thank you all for watching all the way to the end. I'm looking forward to seeing you next time.